Well, good evening, everyone.
I'm Frank Scotto, and welcome to Torrance High's Zamperini Field. Over the 4th of July weekend, the flags of the city flew at half-staff to remember a man we call our hometown hero. And now we're here today to celebrate the life of Louis Zamperini. The rest of the world knew him as an incredible person who survived 47 days, adrift on a raft in the Pacific Ocean during World War II. After floating for 2,000 miles when his plane crashed on a reconnaissance mission, he was captured by the Japanese military and taken ashore to an enemy-occupied island. Weighing only half his weight, Louis would stand over 2 years of unimaginable torture and humiliation in the hands of those who knew him as a famous prisoner. I'm finding the wind up here, I'm sorry guys. As a baby, Louis had pneumonia. The doctor suggested that his family move from the East Coast to the West Coast. Torrance is where he made his home. That advice brought Louis another 95 and a half years more on his life, before he succumbed to pneumonia on Wednesday, July the 2nd, at the age of 97 and a half years old. For someone who started smoking at the age of 5, drinking at the age of 8, and at the age of 27, during World War II, he was declared dead by President Franklin Roosevelt. He was known for overcoming adversity. The hardships he endured made him a stronger person. Today, once again, we gather in the name of Louis Zamperini, this time with flags flying high to celebrate his life. Together, the Torrance Police Department and the Torrance Fire Department will present the colors, followed by Jim Standiford, Louis' best friend and fellow Torrance High Tartar. Leading us in the pledge today and the national anthem will be sung by Laura Savitz, and the invocation will be by Chaplain Dan Hudson. So I'd like all three of you to come up.
Will you all please rise and join me in this Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming.
be seated. Almighty and most merciful God, creator of all things visible and invisible, and faithful sustainer of what you have made, we come before you this evening as people diverse in many ways, from different communities of faith and places of doubt, yet united in the joy of this occasion as we celebrate the life of Louis Zamperini. I thank you for the privilege to stand in this place and invoke your presence. I pray now that you would bless the Zamperini family, elected officials, servicemen and women, and all gathered here. Bless this time as we celebrate the life of this great man. We gather together on this beautiful July evening, standing in the place where ocean breezes do blow. We gather in the town where a local boy became known as the Tornado. On a July night, 78 years ago, residents from this town gathered with great anticipation and joy and held gifts, essentials, and blessings to send off their future Olympian on his journey to Berlin. On this July night, the town gathers once again, holding bits of sadness, faith and pride, appreciation and respect, and simply overwhelming admiration for a great life force who now carries his eternal torch in heaven. We are here to share about a life in whose light was nearly extinguished, who had to plumb the depth of despair and self-destruction before soaring to heights not imagined. May we all be inspired by the tremendous capacity to endure hardship. Life has fears. Louis' life taught us we can live beyond those fears. Everything happened to him, beauty and terror. He just kept going. May God bless us all when we feel the storms around us, remembering that no feeling is final. May we hear the words from a loving God, "Give me your hand," and have the courage to reach out to faith beyond fear. Louis put his hand in the hand of Jesus, his God. May we learn from Senator John McCain's words in a preface of a book about Louis' life, that faith in oneself proves to be the least formidable strength we possess when confronting alone the cruelties of life. That glory belongs to the act of being constant to something greater than yourself, to a cause, to your principles, to the people on whom you rely and who rely on you in return. No misfortune, no injury, no humiliation can defeat that. May his life and this spirit of bravery in life and in the face of death inspire us long after he is gone. May God's blessing be upon us all. Amen.
Just 70 years ago, the Torrance Tornado, as Louis was fondly called, ran track at the Torrance High School. In 1962, this field, right here, then named Torrance Stadium, was opened in his honor. In 1987, students at Torrance High School decided that this stadium, Torrance Stadium, should be renamed Zamperini Field, Zamperini Stadium. Today, there is a plaque at the east end of the field below the flagpole dedicating this stadium to Louis. In honor of Louis' service to our country, we have a group of World War II veterans with us here today. If you guys can please stand up, they're all right here. actually have an individual among the group that named Bill Sanchez, who actually was in the prison camp with Louis Zamperini. Raise your hand. There he is right there. He actually was in the prison camp with Louis Zamperini. Also here today, we have a number of people that actually went to high school with Louis Zamperini. You please stand up now at this time, or raise your hands. Come on, guys, raise your hands. There's some over there. Now, I was going to wear my hat, but and Louis would like that, but it's so windy up here, it's going to probably blow off my head. But so that you can see, it's a USC hat. Louis, every time he came to Torrance, he typically wore his USC hat. So that's why I have that here. In memory of Louis, the Torrance High School Association student body will now place a wreath at the plaque. Let's give the Torrance High School Association student body a round of applause. Now I'd like to invite him to the microphone, the City of Torrance Mayor Patrick J. Fury, up for a special presentation to the family.
Thank you, Mayor Scotto. Good evening to everybody. On behalf of the City of Torrance, the City Council has a special presentation to the Zamperini family. Our city's coins and our nation's flag. The flag has flown over Torrance City Hall and Lewis's alma mater, Torrance High School. These are a small token of our appreciation for all that Lewis has done for the City of Torrance and our great nation. Councilman Barnett and Goodrich, would you please present the flag to Miss Cynthia Zamperini Garris? Council members Wiedemann, Ashcraft, and Rizzo, would you please present coins of the City of Torrance to Cynthia, Clay Zamperini, the grandson of Lewis, and Luke Zamperini, Lewis's son. The City of Torrance is very fortunate to have played a role in Mr. Zamperini's life. and we honor him with landmarks in our city, including the stadium we are gathered in this evening. In 1944, when Lewis was officially declared dead, the city named the Lomita flight strip Zamperini Memorial Field. And then when Lucky Louie returned from World War II alive, the city came together again on December 7th, 1946, to rename the field Zamperini Field, sans the memorial, the same field our flyovers departed from this evening. I want to thank the Zamperini family again for allowing us this honor to honor Louis and for being with us tonight. And I want to thank everybody who has come here to honor his memory and his life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Louis is survived by 2 children, Cynthia and Luke, and a grandson, Clay, whose love and support meant the world to him. I'd like to first invite his daughter, Cynthia Zamperini, to the podium to say a few remarks, please.
Welcome, everyone. On behalf of the Zamperini family, I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight to help us celebrate and honor the life of this magnificent man. I can't believe a few hours ago I was fretting over a bad hair day. I can't stop crying and my hair's a wreck, but I guess I have some company here. I'm going to keep this very brief. I just want to tell you that Louis loved his hometown of Torrance, California so much. It meant so much to him all of his life. And if he could see this turnout here at Zamperini Stadium tonight, it would fill his heart with joy. I know it does mine. I'm sure I can speak for my family that it does theirs as well. So this is going to be very brief. With that said, I just want to invite you to join our family in this celebration of the life of the great Torrance tornado, my father, Louis Zamperini. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Now I'd like to invite his son, Luke Zamperini.
Wow! I mean, what an honor and a privilege to be here with you and to see so many of you here. So, good citizens and visitors to Torrance, thank you so much. You know, I just want to tell you a little something about my dad, our beloved Louis. You know, I'm sure you've all heard the stories, but when his plane crashed in the ocean back in 1943, he was prepared for that ordeal at sea. Being a teenager in Torrance, after being Torrance's most notable bad boy, he became a scout, and an Eagle Scout at that. And being a scout, he learned that the bullets would lose their trajectory in about 3 to 4 feet of water. When he went to school at USC, he studied physiology, and he learned that the brain was like a muscle. It would atrophy if you didn't use it. And then when he was stationed in Hawaii, there was a survival course that was available to all 50,000 some odd GIs in the islands. And he attended that course with 14 other soldiers. That was it. And the course was survival in the water with sharks. So he was prepared. Now, I got to tell you, growing up with Louis as a father was it was quite something. And you know, when he taught me to drive, it was not so much about operating the machine, the car, but it was about, and I want to let these planes fly over here. it wasn't so much how to operate the machine as it was a crash course in advanced contingency planning. It was all about anticipating the moves of all the other drivers on the road and making plans to be able to escape quickly out of any kind of a situation. But you know, Louis was he was a funny guy. You know, those of you that got a chance to meet him, you know his sense of humor is really something. This is a man that, well, see, my mother, who was quite adventurous herself, she went around the world on a tramp steamer back in the 1960s, and when she came home, she was telling us of her adventures, and you know, she was talking about when she was walking up to the pyramids in Egypt that, you know, one of the local men there, you know, slapped her on the rear end. And so Dad goes, well, what'd you do? She says, well, I picked up a rock and threw it at him. I said, well, you should have done the Christian thing and turned the other cheek. This is a man who, when being interviewed by, here they come again. Fantastic. So when being asked if anything ever good came out of 2.5 years in a Japanese prison camp, he thought for a moment and he said, yes, it prepared me for 55 years of married life. You know, he was also a very adventurous man. Did you know that he was lost at sea twice after the war? On a schooner in 1949, blown out to sea off the coast of Mexico, missing for weeks. But lucky Louis showed up again. And I gotta tell you, he was a loving person. Having him for a father was just fantastic. He was a really great dad. He was always there for my sister and myself. He was there for my his grandson, my son Clay. And you know, like his generation, he had a hard time saying I love you, but he demonstrated his love through actions. The things that he would do for us, we knew how much he loved us. In his later years, he began to let those words come out, I love you, and as he just got softer and softer with age. And, you know, just the things he did for us, I can go into, oh, sacrilege, I just knocked over the SC ball cap. Sorry, Mayor. By the way, my dad went everywhere with his ball cap, mostly to seek out the UCLA alumni. So, I mean, I had some pet rats when I was a kid, and I foolishly left them outside one night, and left them in the cage outside, and I thought they were dead. And I was heartbroken. Of course, I was a lot younger than I am now, but, you know, Louis stayed up all night nursing these rats that he didn't particularly care for. Brought them back to life in the morning, and I'll tell you, I was thrilled. And I'm thrilled right now watching these guys come over again. Lastly, I just want to say that Louis was miraculous. And it's not that he performed miracles to impress other people, but that miraculous things happened to him to demonstrate the power of God in his life. The crash at sea, hopelessly wrapped up in the coiled wires from the tail of the airplane, pinning him under the waist gunner's window. Unable to free himself, he passed out, going deeper and deeper into the water, only to awake a few moments later, floating free. No way to figure that one out. It had to have been a miracle. When being strafed in the life raft, the 3 men in this one life raft encountered 48 bullet holes in the raft. Not a single